Mr. Ben was a wartime pilot who had seen more than his share of conflict. Now in his twilight years, he lived in a small cottage on the edge of a village where everyone knew his name but only a few knew his storied past. Local children would often see him sitting on his porch, a cup of tea in one hand and a faded book in the other, but none would dare approach him. His stern eyes and the deep lines on his face told a tale of a man who had been places and done things that very few could imagine. One crisp autumn morning, while Mr. Ben was tending to his garden, a young boy named Tommy wandered up. Tommy had always been curious about the mysterious old man and decided today would be the day he would break the ice. "Excuse me, Mr. Ben," Tommy said hesitantly. "Can I ask you something?" Mr. Ben looked up, surprised by the sudden interruption. He wasn't used to visitors, especially not inquisitive young boys. "What is it, lad?" he asked, his voice gruffer than he intended. "What's the most important lesson you've learned in your life?" Tommy blurted out. Mr. Ben paused for a moment, taken aback by the profound nature of the question. He didn't speak for a while, as memories from years past flooded his mind. Finally, he put down his tools and gestured for Tommy to sit beside him. "Life is full of battles, Tommy," Mr. Ben began. "Some are on the outside, and some are within. The hardest lesson I learned is that the greatest victories aren't always the ones in the sky or on the battlefield, but the ones where you conquer your own fears and doubts. Always be true to yourself, even when it's hard." Tommy listened intently, his eyes wide. For a moment, the mystery surrounding Mr. Ben seemed to lift, and he saw not just an old man but a hero who fought not only in wars but also in the daily struggles of life. Mr. Ben then picked up his tools and returned to his garden. "You have a good heart, Tommy. Remember what I said." With that, Tommy nodded and ran back to the village, feeling he had discovered a treasure more valuable than anything he could have imagined. From that day on, whenever Tommy saw Mr. Ben, he would wave enthusiastically, knowing that the old man on the porch was not just a relic of the past but a keeper of timeless wisdom.